In this lesson, we will learn how to pick up objects. I've opened up the Picking Up Object scene from the tutorial project. Before I start explaining any scripts, I'm gonna run the project. The first challenge that we have is going on top of this ledge here, which we can't do by jumping alone. Fortunately for us, we can pick things up, like these crates here. If we move close to these crates, you can see that we have the hand icon appear, which means that we can interact with it by pressing E. Once we've done so, the object will be placed right in front of us every time we rotate around or when we move. I can press E again to drop it, like you just saw, or I can throw it a little by pressing the left mouse button. You will also notice that the crates, when hitting other objects like the floor or the other crates, will make a little sound. If I move my camera too fast, I will lose grip of the object automatically. What's also important is that objects that get stuck behind a wall or on a high ledge, and you're still holding them, have a maximum range between them and the player. Let's demonstrate this. As you can see, the object has been dropped automatically. Now let's see if we can get on top of this ledge here. That went well. Now let's move on to the next challenge. The second challenge is a seesaw that uses physics in order to get to the other side. If we would walk up this seesaw, the plank, well, rotates because, well, we're too heavy. Luckily, we can solve this puzzle quite easily by using these cinder blocks or cement blocks and putting them on one end of the seesaw. Now the seesaw will stay in place when we walk to the other end, and we can reach the ledge safely. Okay, so how is this being set up? First off, the character controller itself has the built-in capacity to pick things up. However, when we want to pick things up, we do have to specify a few things. For instance, for the crates, we have to do the following. Select your crate, go to the Scene tab, go to the Physics tab of the selected crate in this case, and you will notice that we've set the Physics mode to Rigid Body, we've set a mass of 2, and the collision type to Prop. If you would set this to anything else, like Scene or Trigger, then this will not work. The object also requires mass. If we don't do this, the thing will not be, well, cannot be picked up. The crates also have the impact noise script attached to them. You will see 4 sound slots that you can fill if you want to. And what this does is when the crate in this case drops to the floor or hits another object, it will make an impact sound. The impact sound is chosen randomly on the amount of selected slots. The threshold is a requirement to play the sound. If the object is being placed on top of another object and the speed of which it hits the other object is too low, then the sound will not play. And the play sound, or the emitted sound, which is a 3D sound, well, it has a maximum range, and in this case it's 20, which is very close by for the player to hear itself. Now let's have a look at the seesaw. The wedge beneath it doesn't do anything. It's just a physics object, a static scene. However, the plank, which is part of the seesaw, has the hinge Lua script attached. The hinge script sets a joint hinge on the exact spot of the z-axis, which is this blue gizmo axis. We can specify the axis by setting a 1 to the axis we want it to be applied to. We can also set the limits of this plank by checking the Enable Limits checkbox and setting the actual values of the maximum angles. If we don't do this, then let's say the plank would be somewhere high in the air, it could start rotating around, and that's not what we want to see in a seesaw. And that concludes this tutorial on picking things up.